All right, and we are live. Welcome back to Basic Entertainment. Welcome back to another live spoiler talk of The Mandalorian Season 2. I got a full panel here. I got AJ from AJ Reacts, who is freezing right now.
I'm freezing?
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, no, I think it was my system.
Okay.
And then we got Chris from Talking TV. What's up, Chris?
What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
And we got CERN from CERN Vids. Shout out to him for coming by, special guest of the week. So, yeah, we're going to go right into it. We're going to go recap and then first impressions. So, recap of episode 3, the Heriess. So, we have Mando after the mission of the spiders, broken down ship, goes to the sea planet, gets helped out or helps out the frog lady with her frog husband, which was very climactic part of the episode.
You said anticlimactic?
No, climactic.
No, it was climactic. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was a big scene. It was, like I said, it was something out of Titanic. And we have her helping him out with, what was it, the Mon Calamari, helping out with the Mando. So finding someone to find someone else. We find out that it was a trap. Yeah. And we got 3 Mandos from a place that I think a lot of people know, the Clone Wars, Bo-Katan and her 2 Night Owls companions. And we go on a mission. He needs something from her. She knows a Jedi, so they do a mission. It feels like this is every episode. It's a mission to get something. And yeah, and that was the Heriess. That was the recap. And go in. First impressions, guys. What's your first impressions of this episode? So brief, like 1 sentence for this episode.
AJ, you want to start?
Yeah. With this episode, so I watched chapter 10 and 11 back to back. So it was kind of like a part 1, part 2. To me, it kind of flowed together very nicely because it was kind of like just leading up to that next episode. So my first impression of it is that it was awesome. It had some awesome scenes in it. A lot of references that I didn't quite catch because I know that it's a lot from the Clone Wars and I haven't seen that yet. I actually watched the first episode today. Might get into that more, but I kind of wish I would have caught everything as it was happening. But other than that, it was pretty dope. That wasn't 1 sentence. I'm sorry.
No, that was good. That was good enough. That was good enough.
No, that was
Sir?
good, man. I kind of feel
Chris.
that this episode, and this is coming from someone who has watched the Clone Wars, I feel like they required you to do some homework. So I think that's a little unfair. And I also kind of think that, AJ, you might have gotten more out of it from watching it in a bubble, so to speak, like you did. Because I kind of felt like we had BS episode last week, and then this week some cool stuff happened, but it's kind of like unfair if you didn't spend, however many plus hours watching 22 episode seasons of 23-minute episodes to get all the backstory. It's like I always have my issues with this show, and I hate that I have issues with this show, but I do.
Sorry.
That's fair.
Yeah, that is fair. I've been loving this season so far. I think it got off to a strong start. I think out of the 3 episodes we've had, 2 was the weakest, but it was strangely my favorite. Like that was like my favorite episode of the series when it came out. Wow. And then I saw this one, and I think they're pretty much on par. I think I like this one a little bit more, but first impressions, I was really impressed because it had like a lot of cool action, and it was like really, really dope seeing all the cool sequences they had in there. Right. I noticed they said this season in general, but also this episode, I've noticed a significant upgrade in terms of music. I think they're really playing into that a little bit more. With especially the action sequences, I think they're like ramping. They're like trying to make it not so generic and more letting it stand out a little bit. So I've been really enjoying that. But I think this was a great episode. I really did love it.
And my first impressions is, man, I was loving this episode. I was kind of scared when we got to the boat because I was like, oh no, it's gonna be another monster creature feature of this week, but it wasn't. And we got Bo-Katan, and as a Clone Wars fan and Rebels, I'm like I watched the Rebels, and I'm actually a fan of the Rebels. I was loving this episode. I love the references, the callbacks, the Easter eggs, and just having Bo-Katan out of the animated form and now live action was such a treat for me. And she, well, you know what? Let's get into it. Let's talk about it, this episode as general thoughts. How do you guys feel about Bo-Katan? Like, as I don't know if you guys have seen Clone Wars, but if you guys haven't, how do you guys feel as non-watchers of that show? And do you feel like they filled you in pretty good with this character?
Okay, Certain, you start.
Well, you're the least, like, you've seen the least, I think, Clone
Yeah.
Wars, so I think you're the best person to ask.
So Bo-Katan is a dope character, seems like. And I researched her afterwards, and I know that she has a lot to do with the Clone Wars. So I am, like I said, I watched the first episode today, and I'm looking into getting more into it. But first impressions, man, it's a dope character, and I really like the actress as well. I watched her in as Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica. So yeah, like, and she actually voices Bo-Katan in Clone Wars. So it's the same voice actress playing that character in live action. So that's pretty dope too.
Right. What about Sir?
Did I answer the question?
Yeah, that was the
Okay.
question. What about you, Stern? Have you capped up on Clone Wars?
Yeah, I think the only season I haven't seen is season 7, which I just never got onto that. But I did like her. I think they, like, I felt like if I had never seen Clone Wars, I would have been okay with seeing this character and just being like another ally to Mando. Like, if I didn't know anything about Bo-Katan previously, I think I would have still been like, this isn't anything new necessarily. I don't think, like what Chris was saying with the homework, I don't think Bo-Katan necessarily falls into that. So I think they did a pretty, I think they did a solid job with her, and I was really, really enjoying her presence. I thought she was great.
And Chris?
Yeah, you know, for me, it was really cool to not only see this character who I'd only seen on the small screen or even in like the comics for so long, finally played out in real life, but to have it be the voice that I know and love from Clone Wars, Katie Sackhoff, you know? Plus, like, honestly, that Battlestar Galactica series she was in might be the best one. Sorry, all you old heads, I like the old one too, but the 2000 Battlestar Galactica was fire.
It was dope.
Yeah,
dope.
dude. And I thought she killed it, man. I really thought she brought it. And so I said I had some problems with this show and this episode. She was not a part of any of those.
Oh, okay. So my thoughts was, like I said, I was loving it. I kind of feel like they did a good job because, you know, watching it with my mom, she's not really a big, she only knows the movies and stuff. And she was like a bit confused, but she understands what her wants is. And she knows what her wants is the Darksaber. And I think that was straightly pointed, and it wasn't confused. It wasn't muddling into anything. It was like, she wants the Darksaber to rule Mandalore again. Now, last time we saw her from Rebels, she got the Darksaber. We don't know what happens between all that. We got to find out. All we know is that Moff Gideon has the Darksaber. So how does it go for... Oh, and also, too, I want to talk about Bryce Dallas Howard. How do you guys feel about Bryce Dallas Howard's directing second time around?
Surprised me.
Yeah.
I was
Surprised me too.
I was surprised. I was like, this is Bryce Dallas Howard? What? Okay.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing.
Dom and I...
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, go ahead, sir.
No, you go.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just going to real quickly say, Dom and I were just joking about, we were texting, we were like, how is it that she directed arguably both of our least favorite and maybe the worst episode of the first season, and she knocked this one out of the park?
Yeah.
She must have really hit the books or something, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Because last year, it was like, I think it was like a bit of a conflicting episode because I think some people weren't too big on it. Some people were. They were like, this is just as good as what we had before. Some felt disappointed. I felt disappointed. I was like trying to force myself to like it. Couldn't really do that. Didn't really like the episode all that much. And I was like, I'm here thinking, I'm like, who could have directed this episode? Who could have, like, I'm just brainstorming, and I see her name pop. I'm like, there is no way, because this is like something completely different. This was tonally different too, than her last episode. So it was like really, it was a good change. It was a really good change. I thought I was overwhelmed. I was like, this is great. This is like, I had no idea it was her.
Yeah, it got me excited to see more from her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was telling myself, I was like, no, this. I don't know if you guys know, but Robert Rodriguez is gonna direct an episode, and I was telling myself,
Yeah.
this is Robert Rodriguez's episode. I was thoroughly surprised finding out it was Bryce Dallas Howard. I thought she stepped it up in the tone, the action, dude. This was an action-packed episode. It had so much action in there.
Oh
And
yeah.
for a simple story, it felt like there was so much in there, and I thought that was a big surprise. How do you guys feel about and let me point it out. How do you guys feel about Baby Yoda in this episode?
I loved him because he barely was around. You know, I mean, I think he really is like some of the worst of this show, and he just takes away from it with his just blatant Disney-ified humor. And so I
Right.
feel like we actually got to kind of see Mando just be him and function without restraints. So, and honestly, it was pretty funny. The whole little creature in the soup, that was weird and Star Warsy, and I did like that moment.
Yeah.
But then they quickly dropped him off at the babysitter, which I hope the rest of the show follows suit.
Anyone else want to go about Baby Yoda?
Yeah, I thought this okay. I thought this was going to be like you were saying, Matt. I thought this was going to be Baby Mando goes down there and rescues Baby Yoda. That's what I thought was going to happen. I thought it was just going to be like this creature.
Yeah, I was
episode.
scared. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking it was heading. They resolved it maybe a little quickly. I would have liked it to stay like linger on maybe a little bit longer, but I think I thought it was a good decision, not spending time on that. But Baby Yoda, I think, they're really hitting, because I don't think they knew how much of a, I guess, cultural phenomenon he would become. I don't think they knew when they were deciding to do him in season 1. Now that they know that, they're really going to bank on it. And so I think they've banked on it the most probably last episode. And I think it was a good decision to tone it down a little bit. I agree with Chris.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm kind of with you guys with that. But I do enjoy Baby Yoda's presence on screen, but it could be too much. I could see it being too much, and they did a good job on this episode, I would say.
Yeah.
With him.
I just find Baby Yoda. It was cool. He was like, I think that's the best Baby Yoda we could get, is just the less the best, and we got less of him. It was just, I thought, I was kind of nervous that he was gonna go to the frog lady. I was like, oh no, we're gonna get segments, cutouts of just him trying to eat the eggs, but it wasn't that.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, I was thinking
thought it
that.
was pretty funny where Amanda's like, "Mind your manners," you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Don't play with
That
your
was
food.
That was funny. That was
Yeah.
kinda
That was
funny.
good.
It was like the food was playing with him, and I thought that was funny. And I just want to say, last week me and Chris were doing an episode, right? And I was saying next week's episode is gonna be the best. I called it out. I feel so good because I'm like, I was either gonna eat crow, come over here and eat crow, and be like, yeah, the episode kind of sucked. No, I'm over here. I'm feeling great because I knew that this episode was gonna be good. I have a feeling that what they're trying to do is the first episode try to hook you, second episode filler, third episode try to hook you back again. And I have a prediction. I'm calling that right now. Next week episode is gonna be a filler. So don't get your hopes too high, because I have a feeling next week's Carl Weathers episode is going to be a filler to me. And episode 5, watch out for that one, because that's the one with Dave Filoni is going to direct, and Ahsoka is going to pop up in episode 5. I'm calling it right now because that's his character. So how do you guys feel about the Empire, how they are used now in this show, where we kind of know the state of the Empire, or what the remainings of them?
So yeah, I guess like so far we haven't touched upon my problems, and I want you guys to know they are there, and I will explain them. But like, they are doing a lot more in this season that I think is actually worth our time. Just because it's the only thing on air right now, it doesn't mean it's good, right? That's especially how I felt about the first season. It came out, and what I felt was kind of a slow TV time. And it was just like the only thing to watch. It was the first of its kind, but I think there were a lot of excuses to sort of forgive the lack of quality, but I actually really enjoy how we're seeing sort of the Empire still trying to function, still trying to hang on by the seams. And like last week, one of the things I really liked, certain, I know we haven't spoken about it yet, was the X-Wing fighters. I thought that was cool to get like a little taste of.
Yep.
It's kind of like when soldiers are stationed in like Hawaii and stuff. It's like they're always so far away from everything. I mean, minus World War II, but like whatever, you know what I mean? Maybe that's a bad example, but like for the most part, they're out there all alone, and so like they got to get bored, right? And they got to be looking for something to do. So they were kind of giving Mando a little bit of hell, you know? And it was cool to see like actual people and not just like super Hollywoodized versions of like good and bad. That's what I like that this show's doing, you know, with the Empire and the Rebels.
Will everyone take it? The Empire. So.
Oh, okay. So I agree. The way that they use the Empire in this show, and like how it's not, like Chris said, like Hollywoodized, and I really enjoy that aspect of it. And I think that if they keep going, and I think they need to dive deeper into Moff Gideon's character, because I think that's what kind of hooked us at the finale of the last season, and just don't string that along too much. That's what I feel.
And we did got Moff Gideon too.
We did, and I love that.
It was cool, and I was like, yes, we're finally getting.
And it wasn't too much. It wasn't too much of them.
No, it was a cool kind of like, oh, we need backup. No, I don't think we'll give you backup. Long live the Empire, and just sacrifice yourself. And it shows the loyalty of the Empire.
Like no hesitation.
Yeah. And they were trying to kamikaze that thing, and then he takes the suicide pill. Yeah. So, CERN.
Yeah, I think I really like. I think what they're doing is we might be seeing a Thanos-esque situation with Moff Gideon showing up multiple times throughout the series for like one big grand finale, maybe this season, maybe not this season. But I enjoyed the fact that they did throw him in there for a little bit. I think I agree with AJ. You can't strain this along. You cannot what I always go back to is you cannot pull a CW Flash and just have like 20 episodes where you just repeated, just like really boring stuff, right? You cannot do that. You have to give him development. You have to make the audience, you need some insight into this character, because I think right now we know a good bit about him, but not that much as a character really. So we need some more development on that front, because we know he's a person to be reckoned with, but we need, like, from a writing perspective, from a characterization perspective, you need some more how do you put it? I guess some more meat on the bone, pretty much. That's the best way I can put it. So that's I hope they go that route. I think we will go that route. I think we're gearing up towards is a more story focused season. That's my hope, and that's what I think is going to happen, because from the looks of it, it seems more interconnected than last season was. Last season was a little, I guess, kind of separated, more episodic than this season. Right now, it's feeling like you do something, and that reaches. So you have to do this one thing, and then there's a separate adventure that's going to allow you to accomplish that, and then that is going to be where the next episode picks up, stuff like that. I think because of that, I think it feels more cohesive. And my presumption is that we're going to get a more linear storyline instead of like last season where it was 3 interconnected episodes at the beginning and then just 3 random things going on. I think it's going to be more like an actual story. So that's my hope, and that's what I think is probably going to happen.
Yeah, I think what Moff is, we're gonna get some story elements of how he got to this rank, how he got the Darksaber. Right now, we're just getting kind of like the taste of the Empire, but I'm loving the Empire. How it's kind of like it's broken down. They're kind of like just there, but they're not really like taking over. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just there, and seeing that was pretty cool. And how loyal they are to the Empire was cool.
Yeah, they're like a shell of their former selves now. Yeah, and I think that's not really. Empire, basically, it's an interesting route. I hope they explore that more. Really, I hope that's not just like a one and done.
Right.
Yeah, they feel fractured. You know, they feel sort of weaker, and they almost feel more careful in their planning and And you know, it's like I feel like in the old Empire days, for example, that one scene where they get locked in the hangar bay and they're like, "What room are you locked in?" And then you know the Mandalorians pretty quickly figure out to just open the hatch door and they all go flying out. But I actually felt for the first time a commander of an Imperial fleet actually was like, "We can't afford to lose these soldiers right now." Where in the past I just feel like it's, "Hey, go run into all those lightsabers and get chopped in half. We don't care. We got tons of you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they just feel thin. Their forces don't feel, the grasp isn't as strong as it once
The
was.
forces are scarce.
Exactly.
We got a comment here. Oh yeah, I like a secondary antagonist in this show. Don't get me wrong. I love Moff Gideon, but I like to see him hire a bounty hunter or have a second commander in office. How do you guys feel about that? Two antagonists.
Boba Fett.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I can see that.
That would be.
I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna go that route though, because it's just. I feel like they want to like stretch that as much as they can, so they're gonna show him the least amount.
Yeah.
You know that they can. So I don't know.
That's
I don't know
true.
if that's gonna be it, but
how do you guys feel about?
I can see that.
How do you guys feel about Bask coming back? Bask, the fish guy from
awesome.
Empire Strikes Back with the yellow.
I think he's
That'd be pretty cool, no? Or maybe a new bounty hunter.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bass could be cool because I feel like all he really was just like a really cool costume standing in the background. Like behind Vader, you had, you know, in that one classic scene where all the bounty hunters are there, you see them on screen, but do we ever really get to know them? Not really. We know that Han shot first, I suppose. But it's like, outside of all that, like we don't really know too much about that little ragtag crew. So I think that'd be cool, but I actually have a question for Dylan in the chat. Do you think that the only reason you want a second antagonist, because I actually think that's an interesting thought, and I hadn't thought of that yet, but do you think it's because, and now we're going to get into some of my issues with it, and I'm also curious what you guys think, that's because that this show is just stretching out more story than they have, and so the really cool moments that you get with Moff Gideon and the real moments that actually have tension are so few and far between that we just crave something to push it forward? Because I feel that way. A little bit. Kind of a lie, actually.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
What do you guys think, though?
Yes and no. I feel like it does have story to tell. I think it's trying to be careful about rushing things, because that could be an issue. That could definitely be an issue. Stringing things along can be an issue as well. So I think they're just trying to be really careful doing both of those things. But no, I honestly, I don't think I need a second antagonist personally. I think it's doing well the way it is, honestly.
Here's the thing. I'm not opposed to the idea of a secondary antagonist, but I'd rather they keep it the same way because that's what the show is intended to be. They're trying to make a kind of Western serial set in Star Wars, and I think part of that is you having these weekly adventures. So I enjoy that part of the show. So if you were to throw in a second antagonist, it would. I need story. Yes, don't get me wrong. I don't just want filler every week, but to throw in a secondary antagonist would imply that you have a very specific plot-based story you're trying to tell, and I don't think they're really in that how you put phase of the show yet. Maybe this Western thing is like, they're really leaning into it right now. They're going to lean away from it in future seasons, go more plot-based, but if that's the case, then you will probably see a real secondary antagonist or just like a big main antagonist at some point instead of what they're doing right now. What they're doing right now, though, I'm fine with. I don't really necessarily need a second antagonist. Moff Gideon is cool, and whatever they do with him, I'm sure it'll make sense. If it doesn't, I will criticize it. So that's my.
I will say this. That's good. Certain. I will say this though. If it had more episodes, if each season had more episodes, maybe like 10, 13, maybe even like 15 episodes, maybe a secondary antagonist would be decent. Because it wouldn't feel as convoluted. Crunched into 8 episode seasons.
Yep.
But yeah, like I
Kinda
said,
the Luke Cage thing.
What is it?
Kind of like how they did in that one season of Luke Cage with Marshala.
Yeah, like that was.
Although that
I don't
was
know.
not a
I
good
feel like
example,
we needed. What's that?
Although I thought that season fell apart after we lost Mahershala Ali's character.
Very true.
Yes,
Gone,
Very
it
true.
fall
But like
apart.
that's a second antagonist example, I suppose, right? Or is that am I
Yeah.
wrong?
I feel like the secondary that they did that so weird. Like they split the season into 2 parts, which we didn't need. It felt dragged on. So if there was 2 antagonists, like kind of overlapping and like, driving the show and didn't like kill off one in like right in the middle, maybe it would have worked better. But I don't know. That's what I could see with this show. Just kind of like overlapping.
I'm trying to think of examples where 2 antagonists can work like that. I don't really have any. It's never really been done that well.
It's kind of tough. I feel like it's
really
really tough to
to
do
do.
that.
We all said was terrible.
Yeah, it was.
I think the Luke Cage one, I think Mahershala Ali himself was done well. Like AJ said, or Chris, I can't remember who, but after that, it really did fall off. It was like, what am I?
Yeah.
Am I watching the same show? Because this is not the same show.
Yeah, it seemed like they split it up, like split it into 2 parts for some
And
reason.
it felt really dressed. Like I would have been totally fine with Mahershala Ali dying or his character dying, Cottonmouth dying, and then just being like the end of like a short like mini series season. That would have been great.
Yeah,
that would have been
exactly.
great. I would have loved that. They continued it, so whatever. But I think with this show, with a secondary antagonist, you don't necessarily have to kill one off. I think what AJ was saying with the episode thing, I think you have more. The problem right now, I think, is that they want to do episodic television, but that doesn't lend itself terribly well to just 8 episodes per season. So that might be the problem here. If they had, let's say, I don't know, 12 is a good number. I think it maybe 15. If you have more episodes, not a terrible amount, because then you're just forcing yourself to do filler at that point.
CW.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Go to the CW. I was
Exactly.
Yep.
They think that they're more mature than CW, but really those are the kids they'd fit in with that, like the lunch table. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's
and so
a
because
harsh
they're
example,
just
but
a
it's true.
super loner. Yeah, it's sad. It's honestly really sad. I feel bad for
It
them.
is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense though, because like CW, we have something like The Flash, season 3, the Saboteur reveal that was good, but it didn't need to go on that long. That's the thing.
No,
So it's like
dragged
like
on.
it was a great reveal, but it was done really well. But it was like, why did you spend the entire season on this? So
yeah, we didn't
like
need 22 episodes to get there.
we didn't need that. I would have liked like more Evil Barry at the end. That would have been even better. So like you didn't need that. So it's like with this show, I think with episode like what they're doing, like the format they have right now with season 2, you have like you make them interconnected but also episodic. I like that. If you do that, for like if you had more episodes, maybe you throw in more story, or maybe then filler makes more sense. I don't really know what I'm saying anymore. But secondary antagonist, I think it's like I don't know if it would lend itself well to the show.
It makes sense what you're saying though to me, because
It
I feel
does.
like that's exactly what the Flash does. You throw in more episodes so you can justify the filler. Because you build it around
Yep.
the big reveals, and then you even do like these like little 3-episode arcs, because like, hey, the network ordered 22 episodes, so we Gorilla Grodd, you're coming in for 3 episodes, and we can kill one a season for all of our shows with a crossover, right? And so it just feels like the format doesn't really justify like the way
15 crossover episodes.
Exactly. And at this point, I mean, I stopped watching those shows. I have already enough homework at this point in my life. But I mean, do you feel like it's also because I'm thinking as you guys are speaking, like, could a part of the problem be that like in their free-form artistic spirit of one episode's going to be an hour, another episode's going to be 32 minutes? I feel like there's a reason shows have a uniformity to them.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that it does that with the runtime, because I feel like some episodes deserve to have a longer runtime than others. I thought this last episode was perfect with the 30-minute
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
In there,
And I feel like the last episode could have been shorter. The one with the spiders. That one could have been shorter. Maybe even 30 minutes. But Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like some stories of this show need to be a little bit longer than others. But like none of them are super long. None of them like really even hit the hour mark. Maybe like 58 is like the closest. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The longest we've had, I'm pretty sure, is the first episode of this season. And if you remove the credits, that's still like
Like an
I
hour?
want to say like 50. Okay, so like the official runtime was like 55. So
Okay.
take away credits, that's like somewhere around 50 minutes. So
Yeah.
nothing's really hit an hour yet.
Yeah.
It's a strange situation because I don't like the fact that they change around the run times, but I agree with AJ that you need different run times for different episodes, I would say. So it's like it's a sticky situation because you can't really have it both ways. It's kind of like a lose-lose. So it's I don't really know where to fall on that.
See, I'm not trying to hate on that. I only bring it up because I'm just curious if you guys think that that's where some of the problems come in, some of the inconsistencies that we've sort of been talking about. Because it's a bit unorthodox. I mean, I can't name a single other show, especially on this big of a scale, that does this. You know, and I think, look, you know, I'm not a writer in Hollywood. I'm just someone who critiques it, right? But I have to imagine there's a reason for like that format each week. Like, okay, we're gonna hit 40 minutes for The Flash or 40 minutes for Arrow each week. You know, I feel like it makes it a little easier. So it's like I don't want to hate on something this artistic and creative, but at the same time, if they had a little more stricter guidelines, would it be a little more consistent? I don't know. Like, what do you guys think about that?
I don't know if the runtime has to do with that. I think it might be the writing. I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I was about to say, because I think it's more so the execution, how you go about those ideas, probably, because with something going back to something like Flash, they have really good ideas and a lot of them pay off well. It's just that they format it in such a weird way that it kind of leaves like a bitter taste in your mouth. So it's like it depends on how you carry through the ideas, and I'm sure Mandalorian has great ideas. I don't think the runtime is necessarily the problem. Maybe I know a lot of people had issues with the pacing last episode. I didn't personally. I enjoyed like the slow burn feel, but maybe that's just me. So I guess really it comes down to how you really write every episode, because you could have a 1 hour episode and a 1 hour plus episode that's like really story based, or it's just like really filler. I think Defending Jacob this year, right? The ending episode was I want to say close to hour and a half, somewhere around that mark.
Longer.
Wasn't a very good episode, to be honest. It was like kind of resolving some things, but it was just really separated from everything else. It didn't really resolve anything in a clear way. So it's like you can have a longer runtime. It just depends on what you do with it, really.
I will say, Defending Jacob, that last episode, I wouldn't say it was a bad episode, but it wasn't the best finale to wrap everything up, in my opinion. I enjoyed the episode as a whole, but like to wrap up the whole season, it didn't really work for me all around.
But basically, are you guys bringing it up because it kind of breaks the format of like the
regular
runtime of the show?
Because
gotcha. Because I haven't seen that show. So
some shows do that on Netflix as well, but it's not like as spontaneous as 30 minutes to like an hour and 10 minutes like that. It's not that spontaneous, but usually it's like around like 50 minutes to an hour and 10 minutes, something like that.
And I think I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. I think I like the certain episodes have certain run times, because I know that was one of my problems of season 1. I was like, I'm sitting there like, why is it not 1 hour long? Like, I want this to be longer. And I was kind of telling myself, you know what? It's actually a good thing they kind of scale it back for some episodes and scale it up for some episodes. Like, I think this one was a great example of just good writing, good pacing. I feel like the episode flowed well. It had a lot of elements of action and stuff, and it was packed in for 36 minutes, and it felt like it was kind of longer.
Exactly.
It was 30 minutes. But including the credits, it was 36. Because I looked at the runtime, I was like, this was really 30 minutes. I had to go back.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, they did it perfectly in my opinion.
Really good. Yeah, but you have something like episode 2 where it's like it feels a bit dragged on.
Yeah. Yeah, certain said that it was like slow pace, kind of like a slow burn type thing. Some people enjoy that. And I
Yeah.
know some people that enjoy slow burns, and I personally am not a huge fan of it, but I know that, it's a audience out there for it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree on that. So, all right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into anything you want to say, Cern? And that.
Oh no, I'm good. No, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Let's get into the highlight moment of the episode. Bring up the graphic. Highlight moment. So starting from AJ, go down, Cern, and then Chris back up to me. So here you go.
I would
AJ,
just
you
say
go.
probably the highlight moment was when they were infiltrating the ship, and the stormtroopers were there, and Mando burrowed in head first with the bombs and like all that.
Yep.
The Empire, taking out their own people, and all that was the highlight moment. So it was a jam-packed episode, and I thought it was perfectly paced. I enjoyed it a lot.
Everything's a highlight. Everything
was a highlight. No, but yeah,
Wow. Okay.
infiltrating the ship was probably the highlight for me.
Yeah,
Do I
no,
go?
I'm with you, AJ.
Next.
The action sequence was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The
Yeah.
action scene. I think the highlight, it might be that cargo, or no, it's not that. It's probably Mando running headfirst, cover me, that entire scene. That was really cool. I think when he's walking back, he sees like Bo-Katan and everybody fly away. He's walking back, and all the I think it's the brother of the guy who died, right? He like shows up with this gang, and he's like, "You kill my brother, and I'm gonna kill your pet." And then the Bo-Katan, she shows back up. I didn't kill your brother, or he didn't kill your brother. I did. And then they just like, it's like 5 seconds long, and they just like obliterate everybody. That was like really, really dope. So it was like one of those two scenes that I liked the most.
Yeah, no, for me, it's while both of those scenes are awesome and they're super action packed, and I actually thought the action was so well done. I mean, Bryce Dallas Howard knocking it out of the park this week for real. But what I really got the most out of was what I'm thinking is going to have the biggest sort of reaction going forward in the show, which is when they take off their helmet in front of Mando, and we learn that there's two different types of Mandalorians.
Yeah.
There's the more religious cult, and there are the more, I guess, sort of modern, for lack of a better word.
Oh, he's one of those.
Yeah, he's one of those. They said that, right?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Yep.
So they're willing to band together right now, it seems, for the greater good of Mandalore. But is there something there? Is there, like, if this show really progresses, I'm thinking this could have effects 4, 5, 6 seasons down the road from now. If we start to see Mandalore as like a common planet and stuff, and once Mandalore comes back in order, is there going to be a rift there? And is this like win going to be short lived if they do retake over Mandalore? Like, I was like, maybe I'm just such a nerd and I love Star Wars too much, but that really got the brain spinning, you know?
Yeah. I like that
Like,
radio.
Like Mando himself, they told him he's part of like a religious or like a
Death Watch.
what do they call it? It was like
Cult.
The Watch.
like a
The
cult,
watch,
a zealot.
yeah. The watch.
A zealot. He's like part of a
yeah.
religious
Yeah.
zealot, and it's like that's I didn't know that. That's interesting stuff.
Mhm.
So that could come back. That's probably going to come back. 'Cause I didn't
probably
think
will.
of it that way. With like, oh crap, with like Mandalore being like, or like maybe there's like a rift there now or something. I don't know, like what went down between the Mandalorians that like they don't care about really showing their faces anymore, which is like. From what we know in season 1, that's like rule number 1 for a Mandalorian is you don't take off your helmet. So it's like,
Right.
what's going on there?
Right.
So that's interesting. That was a shocking moment. I was like, hang on, why are they taking off their helmets? That's like
Right.
maybe Mandalorians can do it in front of each other, but apparently
But no.
not. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there.
So the people who, so pretty much I'm breaking it down. So the people that save Din Djarin come from this ancient, super extremist group of Mandalores who don't want to take off their helmets. And Bo-Katan's sister, Duchess Satine, was kind of a peaceful, whatever is, more modern, you want to say. And that's where she comes from, Bo-Katan taking off the helmet, not really caring. But I did like that because it created like some type of conflict. Like, you're not real Mandalore. And like, it's like inner battles with the same type of, you want to say, race of Mandos or brand of Mandos. So my highlight moment has to be when Bo-Katan and the Night Owls came and saved Mando, because I was telling myself, man, they weren't playing games. They were about that action. They were serious, and I was like, they're for reals. And it was cool just seeing, her taking off the helmet and just the reveal of it, showing that it Bo-Katan, and it was a special moment, you could tell. And yeah, so we're gonna get into our final grades and we're gonna wrap it up. So final grades going down with AJ and back up to me.
So what are we doing? Out of 10, out of 5, letter grade, ABCs, letter grade.
Plus.
Yeah. Man, I'd give this one a solid A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm leaning towards A. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I wouldn't say it's an A plus per se. So probably A for me. Probably A for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a very low A, because it was tolerable, really tolerable for the first time in a long time. It's just like all the shows people are hyped on right now, I'm just not stoked on. I'm trying to watch his Dark Material to catch up, and it just seems like a slog. So it's like the only thing I'm really enjoying right now, and I'm not gonna not be true to that, because it's finally something Star Wars and we have something new. So it gives me promise, it gives me hope for the future, and it was very well done. Like, bravo to Bryce Dallas Howard again. She crushed it. So
I'm gonna have to go with an A minus. The action was there. As a Clone Wars fan, like I said, there was a lot there for us Clone Wars fans and Rebels fans. And the only thing I was kind of disappointed is that I wish they fought like a final boss. I don't know, like something like a special trooper or something like something like that would have been cool. But I'm gonna give it an A minus. It's good Star Wars, not perfect Star Wars though. There's still stuff.
I saw some people saying that this might be the best episode of Mandalorian. What are you guys feeling about that?
Certainly
thus far?
The best paced, I think.
Yeah.
As far as early episode seasons go, now that I think, like Matt pointed out, there's a pattern. Clearly, the first season is now we're mirroring that in the second season. I think it had high stakes, and it gives me. I'm excited going into the finale. Where this time last year, I remember being like, well, I'm watching it because we're covering it, but it feels like homework. And like I always say, I have enough of that. So, you know what I mean?
You love to hate on season 1.
I gotta be honest, man.
Yeah. I feel that.
You and Jaren should talk. He didn't like season 1.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know he didn't like it.
I think it might be. How do I put this? I think it's the best episode the series has had. I don't know if it's my favorite. It still might be. I think it's tied with last episode, because these last 2 episodes I've really, really enjoyed. So
really,
I know it's weird, but I think this latest one, I think it's the best episode, because season 1 you had the first. Episode 3 last year was really, really good. 4, 5, 6 kind of fell off. 5 was just not good at all. 6 was a step up. I really enjoyed that one. 7 was really good. I think that was the same director as episode 3, Deborah Chow, I think. Yeah. Those 2 were good. And then I think the finale was my favorite episode, but it wasn't necessarily the best one, I would say. So then compare that to this season, I already like it more. And then episode 3, I think the latest one is probably, I agree with Chris, the best paced episode. Probably the best action I've seen from the series, because episode 1, towards the end, episode 1 got really, really good. Towards the beginning, I don't really know if I was feeling the fight choreography. I thought it was like a little disjointed, maybe. So I don't know. Maybe that's a Jon Favreau thing. I don't know. But I think they stepped pretty much everything up with this episode. So I would say it's probably the overall best episode the series has had. I don't know if it's my favorite. That still might be a tie, but yeah.
I think I'm gonna go episode 3 of last year. I really like the Sin. That was a good episode from Deborah Chow. I think I like the finale, but I like episode 3 the best.
That's probably top 5. That's probably top 5.
This for sure is cracking that list though. It's for sure the top 5 one of the best episodes.
every episode this season has cracked my top 5, which is crazy. But
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
AJ.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say this was the best episode, but I just know I'd been seeing that around, so I wanted to ask.
It's there. It's there.
Yeah.
We'll see more, of course, of season 2. But we got a question here from Dylan Harris. Do you guys like the show is bringing characters from different Star Wars media like Carl Van from the books or Bo-Katan from other shows? So how you guys? So we talked about it in our first show. How you guys liking the bringing the characters from different medias so far? But we're about to get a big one in a couple weeks.
Yeah, certain. I mean, so we don't taint your opinion because the three of us have kind of already discussed this together. I think you should maybe go first on this one.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I like the fact that Mandalorian is not connected to everything else. That was a big part of season 1. That was just like this separate story. The thing is, though, it's like weird. It's like it feels like a double standard. It's not really, though, because like season 1, I really like the fact that they didn't connect it at all. But I think now that we're this far into it, I think it's nice that they're throwing in more connections. Obviously, they shouldn't go as drastic as like, pull a Luke Skywalker or something, but like, something like Ahsoka Tano, like that might be cool. So
Matt wants Luke though.
You okay? Well, I'm trying to disagree.
Yeah, I want Luke.
He say he wants Luke. He wants Luke.
Well, I don't know that.
Yeah,
I don't
want Luke.
I don't know if I don't know if I want Luke, but
I agree.
This is why I want a certain to go first.
Yeah.
I put myself in a tough spot.
No,
but,
you're good. No, you're good.
But
Keep going.
I think I like the fact that they have connections now. I think because like the point we're at now, we kind of know the series. We have like a good amount of investment in it. So at this point, it's like not necessary, but I think it's better to have like some nods that, oh, look at this, look at that. Like they went back to Tatooine, episode 1, and they did that in episode 5 last year too. Last year didn't work out so well. This year was like, done pretty well. So it's like, it depends on how you do it, obviously. But having nods, having connections, bringing back older characters, especially more obscure characters, I like that they're doing that. So the answer to the question is yes, I like it.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So I guess I'll go. In some aspects I do like it. In most aspects I don't. I want this to be something completely different than what we know and love. I want it to be its own entity. Like a lot of season 1 was. Season 2, since we are getting characters that weren't seen live action, we see them from books and animated shows and things like that. That's okay, but I don't want it to be oversaturated with what we already know, because I think it kind of holds back the world building, essentially.
Yep.
So
I agree.
That's my opinion.
So far, it's been good. I think that's one of the. Oh, you want to go, Chris?
No, you go ahead, Matt.
So far, I think it's been good. But I feel like I'm about to get very critical when they bring in Ahsoka, because Ahsoka is my girl. She's one of my favorite characters, and I feel like I'm gonna be like, "Are you doing it right? Is Rosario Dawson actually good as Ahsoka?" It's gonna be hard to get used to. So we're gonna see that. But so far, so good for me, Chris.
Yeah, no, I actually kind of agree with a little bit of all you guys are saying. Matt, I agree with you in the sense that, like, it's exciting. I really like Ahsoka. I'm also a Clone Wars guy in this chat right now, and she's a great character, man. Phenomenal. One of the best written Star Wars characters of all time, so she's got to be done right. And I think, Filoni and Favreau have a real sense of what these Star Wars characters need, as corny as it may or may not be sometimes. But I'm also with AJ, where it's like, it really could hurt the world building, because the more familiarity you introduce into this show, the smaller this galaxy feels, because we already know these people. And isn't the whole point to like explore all these planets and explore different reaches of the galaxy? Mando's going out to the Outer Rim. I'm sick of hearing about the goddamn Outer Rim, pardon my French. I want to see it now. I keep hearing about it. If it's this crazy place, shouldn't a bounty hunter take us there? But we keep going back to Tatooine, which is technically in the Outer Rim, but like we've seen it already, so I don't care.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I see what you're saying.
all you guys,
Mic drop.
Yeah.
That was a good bit.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say? Last words before we get out of here.
Just thanks for having me yet again, dude. This was a great time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same here, man. I love being a part of this. I didn't really get to do this the first season. It's fun, like kind of analyzing every episode, as they come out. It's pretty dope. So I appreciate it, bro.
So we're gonna go in with the plug-in. So let's go to CERN Vids first. CERN, where they can find you.
Well, first of all, I do want to thank you as well for having me on here. If you want to have me back, happy to join. Love talking Mando. If you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd at Certain Vids. About to do my yearly, trying to catch up with all the best picture or best of the year contenders, stuff like that. So I'll be more active on my Letterboxd now. But Twitter and Instagram, I'm active the most on those two platforms. YouTube channel, Certain Vids. Like it says at the corner, do video essays on films, and I'm planning on doing some stuff on TV, but right now it's movies. So you want to check me out? That'd be very much appreciated. And thank you for having me, Matt. And I'll be glad to join next time.
AJ.
What's up? Yeah, so I didn't know that it was gonna be on me. But anyway, yeah, you can find me on AJ Reacts 2 YouTube channel. As well as Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, and Twitch. I do movie reviews. I do reactions to music videos, gaming, all kinds of stuff like that. So if you're into that kind of stuff, come check me out. And I have a channel update coming out soon. So things are going to change a little bit around AJ Reacts 2, but everything's going to be good, though. So.
Yeah. And Chris from Talking TV.
Yeah, Matt, thank you once again for having me, dude. I really do appreciate the opportunity to hang out with you guys every week on your channel. I love your community, and I love being a part of it. And also, speaking of communities, we actually just cracked 120 subscribers today. So if you guys like kind of the nonsense I'm spitting, it's not all negative. I'm just hard on Disney because someone's got to be. My co-host Dom is a little more, in their corner. So we have a great dynamic over there on Talking TV. You can find it right below. We cover all things movies, TV, and everything in between. We post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and that's Talking TV on YouTube and on podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google. You guys know the deal. We'd appreciate you hanging out with us, and it's great to hang out with you guys tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, and we got Stranger Boy in the comics. Peace out, and thank you, Stranger Boy. Shout out to Stranger Boy. Shout out to you guys. We will guys see you guys next time here on Basic Entertainment on Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 Eastern. See you guys. Take care. Goodbye.